Live.
It even says it here on StreamYard. Wow.
Wow, that's a first for a second, maybe.
Let's enjoy it and now get into it.
All right.
I'm Brent Leary.
Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players. And guess what? We're bringing the whatever that is. You want to say what we got to be careful about how we say that. We got to be careful.
Yes. We're golden today, though.
We're golden. All right.
Yes, we are golden today.
All right. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it's because we have the moment of spin back.
All right. Ooh, geez, man.
He's been coming like bringing you the noise.
Yeah, this one's hard.
I don't know. I couldn't even make a guess on that thing. That's coming back with a vengeance. Wow.
Yeah, these are two. The last one I didn't get. Although I was sort of had an inkling. This one I'm not 100. I'm starting to lose my skill set here.
I thought you had a particular set of skills.
I did. I can recognize languages, but I'm starting to lose that now. This one's a really tough one. Oh, I know. I have a guess. It's Eskimo, Inuit. I don't know what. It's basically it could be Aleutian, but it's an Eskimo language.
Did you say it could be an Aleutian?
An indigenous language. It's an Eskimo. It could be Aleutian, Aleutien. It could be Inuit. It could be. I don't know anyone actually calls them.
Wait. Inuit has its own language.
Yeah, right. Intuit.
Oh, sorry.
Now that would read, well, yeah, there's 34 million is in there. So that's Intuit's language, right? So, no, I'm saying Inuit.
All right. The guess is in.
Something like Eskimo-like language. I'm not sure what it's an indigenous.
All right. We'll go to Sven to provide us for the actual answer. You got to break this losing streak you're on.
Well, I only missed one, right? So I've only missed literally one. So I mean, now I gotta.
Does that mean you got it right?
I got it. I'm guessing I got it.
I'm glad.
I'm not sure. He didn't say I got it.
I know it is just yelling Paul. I don't know what that means. Does that mean
Paul,
you're wrong, or
yeah, Paul, you're crazy?
Let's see what is going on here.
Greenland. There you go. It is. It's an Inuit type language. I knew it.
How do you know that means it's? Is that the official language of Greenland?
I mean, it's a derivative.
We need an actual name of the language here, Sven.
No, it's okay. I mean, I am right though in this one. I right.
I want to make sure you are right.
Well, again, I don't know I know what language it is, but I don't know what they call the language. But I know it is what I said. It's an Inuit language of some kind.
All right, Sven, let us know exactly so we can move on.
I can always wait for that. Oh, that's Claude.
Anyway, while you're doing that, this is a special, I would say a special CRM thing.
Awesome one.
Which calls for special housekeeping. Is it
housekeeping? Wow.
Did I get it right?
Oh, I know that you've done something.
Did I do it right?
That's why it's golden.
No, that's not really,
No, I know. I'm just making
that just happened. I was in a bit of a rush.
I literally am making a connection, so we have a connection since it's obviously random.
You know what's really messed up is I had put my slides together.
Yeah.
And I take your suggestion ever since you gave it about making it a PDF instead of just a. And so I go to get my slides because there are some really good slides here. I got some images here. And damn it, if it isn't showing up on this computer. Now it should be, but it isn't. So I'm gonna have to apparently just kind of go by memory, which is pretty you never know what'll happen with that, but we'll do it. And let's see, did Sven actually give you the go ahead? This is the official language of Greenland. He's still
in a Google Translate calls that the official language of Greenland.
He calls what the official language of Greenland?
That statement is in the official language of Greenland. Again,
I know
this one. I know I'm right.
Well, I'm glad you do, but officially,
there was one word that gave it away.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him say Inuit is whatever.
Well, again, language. I'm not sure the official name for it, but it's that.
All right, Sven, you've got to rejigger this thing so we know we get an actual, like when it's French, you say it's French, and we all know, but I don't know what
they just call it. Greenlandic.
Why don't they just call it Greenberglic?
Oh, I'd go for that,
and then we'll be able to move on. All right.
And I could easily do it.
The official language from here on in of Greenland is Greenberglish. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yep, this is. I'm right. I mean, I'm totally right. It's here, known to its speakers, meaning the Greenlandic people, as Kala Isuit. It's a member of the Eskimo Aleutian, remember, language family. It means it's closer to the Inuit languages found in Alaska and Canada than it is to neighboring Icelandic. So I literally had all three when I said Inuit, Aleutian, and Eskimo. I was right on all.
Well, which one is it?
No, it's a member that the family of those languages.
We got to move on. We got important people listening to us gibber and jabber along here.
I'm taking it. Yeah, look.
All right, let's see. Now we got the primary and official language of Greenland is whatever you said, also known as Greenlandic. Well, all right. Now I feel good in saying you got it right.
The rest. Congrats. It belongs to the Eskimo Aleutian language family and is closely related to other Inuit languages.
No, you had me at.
I got all three of them.
You had me at
all three terms,
or whatever that thing is called. All right, let's move on.
We got people waiting for us.
We got special guests.
Nailed it.
How did we get to this point?
Just because I didn't get it last week.
All right, whatever. All right, let's move on.
Also, because you can't get your slides up.
Yeah, my slides are gone, so I'm gonna have to just say our special housekeeping. Is it right? Did I get it right? I don't know what the mental block is with me and housekeeping and house cleaning, because if you look at my house,
not the same thing.
Yeah, maybe that's the mental block. All right. Anyway, so next week we do have a special show. Before we jump into this one, we have a special show that we will be doing to announce something that we will be doing for the third time, I think, with the folks over at CRM Magazine.
Yeah.
So we will be having the publisher Bob Fernickes. Remember I used to say Fernekes or something like that? Yeah, that's not. I've known this dude for like 20 years, and I said his name wrong for 18 of those years or something like that. So Bob Fernickes.
Yeah, we're gonna do some house cleaning with Bob Fernickes.
Yeah. Now I was
going here.
I was blowing up Bob Fernickes' name. I totally blew his up, but I think I blew up both of his names for like.
Well, no,
I used to call him
Len.
Well, I think I was calling him something else, but I know I was saying his last name completely. I was calling him Kyle.
Oh wow!
And he never
not even spelled that way.
Well, see, it's Klie.
Dyslexic.
Yeah, I just thought, well, it has to be Kyle, right? So
yeah, he's constantly misspelling his own name. How do you like that?
Yeah, come on, man, get your name right.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Lynn Kyle, not Lynn Klee.
What's the Inuit translation of your name, Lynn?
I don't know. Moved on, but we're gonna have them here next week, a week from today, to talk about the CRM Magazine Awards and what we're going to be doing for the third time around. That'd be good. All right. By the way, it's finished. Congratulating.
Thank you, sir.
There he is.
That was a good one. I feel redeemed.
You know what else is coming up? And then just a brief mention here, because we're running out of time already. The kickoff, the inaugural episode of Game On. And you got to have that exclamation, because you got to say that.
Absolutely. That's part of the plan.
Game On with Paul and Todd. Gaming, life, B2B, enterprise, all that kind of stuff. You want to say a quick word before we get going?
Yeah, better, because that didn't make any sense with you. Right. So this show, Todd Harris, big name in the esports world, gaming world, one of the speakers, if you remember, if you were there at IRL 2025, our first. He and I are launching a show that's going to talk about basically, and it's for a B2B audience. And we're taking the world of engagement from the B2C style engagement into B2B. We're talking about literally PC and video gaming and esports and the business lessons and the impact of your own experience as a gamer, potentially on the decisions you make in the management side. We're going to be talking about how to foster engagement using a lot of tools and techniques and methods and models from the gaming world. And ultimately, we're going to bring on those who are brave enough in the B2B world to admit they are gamers and will play games that their 16-year-old will play, and will come on and tell us about what they're doing. So there's a lot of different things. This first show is August 19th, which is Tuesday at 2 p.m. on PPM, a digital broadcast network.
Sounded like you said PPM there for a
PPN.
Second. All right, just want to make sure we got that right. All right. Now I think we got all the housekeeping. Oh man, I just can't get it right, man. Housekeeping. It was like a combination of cleaning and keeping. Congrats. Totally thrown off here. All right, so we were looking at like all these really people that we've known for years, these executives and all these highfalutin positions. And a lot of them were moving over the last couple of months. So just a lot of the folks that we've known that we worked with for years at certain companies, we just noticed, wow, there's a lot of movement going on. There's a lot of people that are going from a new company or going to a new company or with this kind of same kind of like experience or expertise there. So they're going from one company and going to a new company that, doing the same kind of stuff. Then we have some folks that were, doing one thing and then they're going to a new company to do something different. Entirely different. And we were like, well, what's going on? Why are all these people that we've known that worked at this company or in this position all of a sudden just like almost like en masse taking new positions? And then we even have a situation where two people that we knew from different things going to the same company. And it's like, wow, I mean, we can go on with this. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool, since we know all these folks that we either worked with them or just knew them, and just have a group conversation about, what's going on, tell us a little bit about what they're doing or where they're going and maybe why, and just see what kind of organic conversation comes up. So we've assembled, I think there's 5 of them. There's 5 folks here, and maybe let's figure out, do we want to do a little very quick introduction, or do we just want to bring them all together and have them maybe give us a little taste of their background and where they are now and then go into it? What do you want to do?
So I will give a real broad general statement about all 5, because there is something in common with all of them.
And if they could play basketball,
and then we can have each of them come on, have them come on and give a little bit about themselves, which is a little variance on our norm, but just in the interest of time. All right. So here's the thing that characterizes literally all 5 of these people. Every single one of them is great at the jobs that they always have, and none of them really have to move if they don't want to, right? So the thing is that these are not people who've been desperate for work or who are just like, what am I going to do with my life? These are confident, long-standing, seasoned rock stars in our industry, in every single case, actually. Right. And in some cases, they step away from the industry a little bit. They're now back in. But the interesting thing to me about all of these is there isn't a single person here who needs to concern themselves about, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? Because they all know, and they're all experienced, and they're all stars, and they're all leaders, every last one. So what gets interesting about this to me is, why'd you do it? Right? What caused you to do it? And then tell us about what you're doing. So there you have it.
By the way, we even have a first. We're going to have a guest that not only is leaving comments on one channel, which is YouTube, he's even leaving comments on another channel, which is LinkedIn. So we got multi-channel Dani going on. So do you want to just say who you want?
Just bring him on in.
Yeah, let's bring Dani in. There he is, Mr. Weinstein. How you doing, man?
How you doing, bud?
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
You sound better than we do, actually. So yeah.
Sound great. Now you want to have Dani kind of do his thing now, and then do.
Yeah, why not?
Sure. So Dani Weinstein, I'm the community guy. I've known Paul and Brent for a very long time. I've recently joined IBM, heading up their TechXchange community. Super excited about this. Been doing community for quite a long time. So Hewlett Packard, a couple of unicorns along the way, Domo, Kaltura, most recently SAP. And so, we call our community the Tech Exchange, and that's kind of our umbrella brand. And we've got a great opportunity now with the leadership that I report up to. They're bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together, learning, training, customer success, either directly within us or immediately in our under our umbrella, and I just hired two new rock stars to my existing team. So let's go.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do that. I wish I remember that picture I showed last week, Paul, of Dani. You posted a picture on, I think it was on Facebook, or I don't know, maybe it was on LinkedIn, like from your early work days, and you were posed like Charlie's Angels with these three. So you were in the middle, and they were holding up their.
Yeah, so I was Charlie, and I had Wendy Skippers, Kelly Machado, and Lily Lowe, who managed my French and German communities for HP, Lily in Singapore for Simplified Cheese Korean, and Kelly for the Spanish and Portuguese languages. And one day someone called me Charlie, and every time we were up at Lithy Awards or our own conference, they had their
guns out. Okay. All right. Thanks for being here. Well, who do you want to bring up next, Mr. Greenberg?
Let's bring up Shalini.
There she is. Look at smiling.
How you doing, my dear?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. It's been a while since I've seen you live.
Well, at least we're still alive, so that's a good thing.
We're hanging in there anyway. So fill us in a little bit. Tell us about yourself, even though we actually know.
Yeah. Well, yes, I got the pleasure when I was at SAP working with both of you. 25 years of helping brands connect with their customer. 10 of those years were at SAP, leading CX marketing. And I did a little stint outside of CX and realized my passion is CX, and came back to lead product marketing at Netomi, where we're really making a difference, helping our customers, deliver on experience with theirs and solve their problems in a safe way. So I'm excited to be here and meet the rest of the guests.
All right.
By the way, before we bring up the rest of the guests, when we were getting everything set up to have Shalini join us, I had put the promo together. And I had everybody's last name on it except hers. And she was like, first of all, you're one of the folks that's going to be joining us that is also at your new company. Yes. He pointed out to me, hey, you do realize that you got everybody else's last name on, but hers. I was like, oh, I better fix that. And after I fixed it, she sent me a message saying, I don't know if you meant to do this or not, but yeah, my first name is the only one on there, but I'm okay because it makes me feel like Madonna. So I thought, okay, well,
I'm the Madonna of the group.
Yes. So the Madonna of the group is introduced. All right, Paul, who's next?
All right, so let's bring on Alan now.
All right, so we're staying in a nice harmony with
exactly continuity.
There he is.
Continuity planning. Hey, Alan.
Hey, everybody. If we said if she's Madonna, I want to be Sting.
So you didn't tell me that, man.
All right, Sting it is.
Internally today. Hey, everybody. It's great to see both of you. Brent, I feel terrible. I was down in Hotlanta a few weeks ago, but I literally had like zero free time. But
I take no offense to that, man.
Admittedly, I hadn't been to my sister's house in 7 years, so I actually had to spend time with her. I wasn't allowed to do anything work related.
No, that's okay. I take a definite back seat, maybe a back seat to that, sir. So get us up to speed about a little bit about you and your travels and where you are now, because you and Shalini are working together, right?
We are. It's so exciting. And when we started working together, we were like, oh my God, like our lives are like so intertwined personally, professionally. It's like we knew all these people together. It's wonderful. So
had you not known each other before you went to Netomi, or you had?
I knew of Alan, but I don't think we'd ever met formally.
That is astounding.
Well,
his reputation preceded him.
Yeah, that's really astounding.
We're trying to be, there's got to be a better saying than partners in crime. It's not crime. We're partners in success, or the Wonder Twins, or something like that.
Do you say activate to each other a lot?
Yes, a lot.
I could not be happier. It made joining so much better. So yeah, we've both been at Netomi for about a month. A lot of your audience prior to that would know me from Salesforce days, would know me from industry analyst days. So I was a decade with Ray on a Constellation on that side of things, and just am super excited to be here at a vendor kind of pitching this agentic AI for customer experience story that we'll get into.
Agentic AI. What? I haven't heard that term, right?
Yeah. No, brand new. That's actually Inuit for something.
Oh wow!
For something.
That new Greenbergian language.
Yeah, you're stuck now. I'm gonna keep this over your head for months.
All right, you got two to choose from here.
Okay, let's bring on Celia.
All right, here she is.
Hey.
Nice bookshelf, by the way. Yours is nice too, Alan. I just don't.
No, you see, yours is color coordinated. You got a color coordinated bookshelf.
You know what? Celia is responsible for the whole bringing the as title thing.
That's right.
Think about it.
What?
Don't you remember at Varen? When you were at Varen. That guy, what was his name? Austin.
There was 5 people named Austin, so it's
Austin.
bound to be Austin or something.
Yeah. He was on the crew. There was an Austin.
That guy on the crew. He's the one who does that voiceover. He said, "Bring in the ass." Since 2009.
That wasn't our script, but we were like, okay, we'll figure it out.
I want to clarify it wasn't my script.
Okay, so I know you and Paul go way, way, way back. I go back with you maybe just 2 ways, maybe something like that. So tell us a little bit about your journey, where you've been, and where you are now.
Sure. So I'm at Conga now. I've been here. Sounds very familiar to others on the panel. I've been here this is week 5, so pretty new. But back in an industry that I worked in before and just love. So we handle a lot of the complex things. If you think about in a business when it comes to driving revenue and managing risk, so CPQ, pricing, contract lifecycle management, and I am the CMO there. This is my 5th stint as a CMO in B2B. I love B2B marketing. Paul and Brent know this. And met Paul when I was at Pros and spent some time, one of Conga's competitors. And then I've spent some time in this industry in ERP and CX, HCM, and just, I love it. I think it's fun. I think the amount of change happening right now is so cool. It's a fun place to be.
All right. And now, finally, and last but not least, Hyoun. Let's bring him on.
And we bring him on, and I have to say, before he gets a chance to talk a little bit, we're not just bringing him on because of this, which is important. I'm particularly really glad to bring him on because he's a Prince fan too. Which is incredibly important to me. And he also probably left the funniest comment of the year. As we were talking about, we always do a little shtick around the bringing the ass thing, and we make real sure we draw that Z out so it doesn't sound like anything else. And one of I think my favorite comment of the year, Hyoun put in the comment section, does that mean you guys have been backing that ass up for 16? Which literally brought tears to my eyes because it was just too funny. But anyway, I had to put that out. Now, Hyoun.
All right.
Tell us about what you do and where you are now.
And
I'm John Park. I'm the head of product marketing at Levelpath, where we're focused on delightful procurement. Kind of the flip side of what Celia is doing over at Conga. Because if you've ever dealt with RFPs, they suck. Supplier data, it's all over the place. You've got 8 million different sources, 8 million different vendors, all that. So we're trying to make that easier by using AI. And I found that to be a really interesting opportunity, the idea of building a supplier data based platform. Because when you think about basic assets, you've got ERP. When you think about the customer, you've got CRM. But when you think about your supplier data, there's not necessarily
Somebody was I can't tell who it is, but
something interesting there
there was it sounded like somebody was rubbing the microphone
noise.
Yeah, I think it's on now.
Okay. Anyways, I come here after spending 17 years as an industry analyst, having looked over analytics, data, and actually IT procurement as well. So I'm excited to actually get my hands dirty.
All right.
Now, before we get started, Dani just sent me the picture, so I feel a need to just show you what we're talking about. Was that were you guys remaking that? Because I think the one that I saw that was a
different one.
You had completely dark hair at that one. Did you guys get a chance?
I've got another photo I'll send you, but that was in a pub. This one had actually everybody, but yeah. So we had two HP support summits where we flew in all of our super fans from around the world. I think this may have been in Orlando, which was our second one. And yeah, so these are my 4 actually Rockstar community leaders. So Katie actually ran the conference and was English. Lily, who's right in front of me. She ran the APJ languages. Wendy on the left, European, French, German, and Kelly was Spanish and Portuguese. But yeah, rockstar.
I'll just say is you actually had 4 angels on that one, so that's kind of special.
Well, you know, you asked me to step up to the plate, run prime time. I got to just keep the best one.
So, look, I have a simple question to start this off, and for each of you, which is, why'd you do it? Why did you? Look, we don't talk about, very few, I've never even heard a show on somebody talking about why they changed jobs. Never. So, and all of you are genuinely, I wasn't saying that as some sort of generic statement. Each of you has been and is a star in your own right in what you do. So the question is, why'd you make a job change? Why? And, you know, you can give us an answer. You have to give us, or you can give us an answer that you'd rather give us. It's up to you, really. Right. Take your choice. But anyone who I'll tell you what, Dani, since you're like the one I see on top here, why don't you start?
Sure. So, you know, again, right now that we're not alone here. I mean, I've been in obviously the community world for a long time, but I've also get really good at the job search. So this is my 3rd sabbatical in the last 7 years, and so circumstances kind of forced the situation. And someone who's extremely well connected like myself, you know, I ended up getting this role of learning about this opportunity through my network. So Marius Cortea, who actually hired me, actually built up this community, started about 6 years ago. And, you know, we met up at a Bill Johnston meetup in San Francisco at the beginning of the year. And I kind of planted the seed, and he reached out to me in late March. Hey, are you still looking? And that's how we got the ball rolling. You know, but again, there's still, like anything else, we're kind of going through waves of the value of the work that we do. And we kind of rode a crazy wave through my last gig at SAP. And then, of course, there's been a lot of downsizing. And I think that, you know, there's just a lot of really skilled people in the market right now that are struggling to get their next opportunity. So anyway, I did write an article about my journey, and I read it. Very happy to be here.
All right. Shalini, why don't you go ahead now?
Yeah. So, you know, I think after being in tech and CX for a really long time, it's also about the people that you work with. And to me, this next adventure was about being in a company where people were so passionate about what they were doing. I mean, this agentic AI space is very fast-paced and moving, and it was definitely something that I was interested in exploring. But it was really more about, I met Puneet Mehta, the CEO, in person, which was really nice when everything is remote. And just to hear him talk about the customers, the large enterprise customers that they're helping to solve real challenges, airlines that have 7,000 travelers disrupted and we're able to help them get to their destinations. And everyone that I met shared that same passion, and you don't hear that as much anymore. And so, and the other thing is, I've done all aspects of marketing, but product marketing is really my core focus and my passion. And so when, he talked to me and said, we need product marketing here to really help us elevate where we're going and help, create that product market fit and reach those customers, I was in. So it was like a couple of conversations, and I realized just the value of the company and the people and the solutions that they're delivering to these amazing customers. So
hey, Alan, it makes perfect sense. You next.
Yeah, well, it's hard to follow up with that. It was very simple for me when Puneet and I started talking. Technology is one thing, and there's amazing differentiators at every company, but it wasn't that. It was the customer list. As someone who loves telling stories, when I was in the analyst world, what differentiated software vendors wasn't what they told me they did. It's what their customers told me they did. To be able to be on the flip side of that and hear from the world's largest airlines and hotels and sports arenas, and it's just been fascinating to hear real impact as opposed to marketing stories. And so to have the opportunity to be there, so I'm handling getting that information out there. I'm not going to be talking about the product. I'm going to be talking about the company. So I own analyst relations, press relations, customer communications, etc.
Outreach.
And it feels like a T-ball. Like it's just, we have incredible stories, and in a very competitive and hot market, the key is to getting those stories out there. So I think it's an exciting opportunity.
So it sounds like actually both of you were impacted by the CEO himself.
Absolutely. I think, go ahead if you want to.
Well, I was just going to say, like, when you look at the leader of the company who's like driving, the company forward, it's like, and hearing his passion and his excitement about where they are, but where they want to go. And it's infectious, right? And you don't see that, I don't know, very much these days. And so it's definitely a culture of inclusivity and transparency. And that's definitely something that I really wanted.
One last thing so talk a little bit more about Netomi itself, because I also am kind of curious. I'm just curious, although we'll maybe not get into it here, but the Airline 7000 thing, only because I keep thinking that's Gander, Newfoundland. So, and the basis for Come From Away. But in the meantime, talk a little bit more about Netomi itself, because I honestly, if I'm being honest, I mean, I hadn't heard of it until I saw it. All of a sudden, both of you were there, and then all of a sudden, it became really interesting to me that you both went there. And then I thought, okay, I need to be paying attention to this company. It's got to be something going. So, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Alan, you want to start?
Sure thing. So, essentially, we power some of the world's largest brands' customer experience. So, like you said, you haven't heard of them. It's because it's not a piece of software you use. It's the behind-the-scenes customer support tools when you're submitting trouble tickets, when you're asking questions. But if you think of that first generation of the way people were doing customer support, going into chatbots, getting answers back, this is so far advanced from that, where these are actually taking actions to resolve what the issue is. It's not just, I need to know the answer to something like, how much baggage can I put on an airplane? It's, okay, we'll answer that for you, but then what seat do you want us to book for you? And what travel plans can we help you with your rental cars or your hotel after that? It's really bringing these things to life to actually take action to resolve what's going on. And of course, it's across all the channels that you'd expect. There's chat, there's voice, there's text messaging, there's all of those things. But it just feels good that it's solving real problems. Yeah. I think one of the stories that sold me on joining was a woman who wrote, so physical letter. So it's nice when you hear those physical letters still exist, to the airline, thanking the customer service agent that helped her over Christmas break. They looked up that case. It wasn't a person, it was our bot. She did not know it was a human doing it and took the time to write a letter. So we're at an inflection point where these things are really changing. I'll get yelled at internally, but look, we know a lot of people don't like that feeling of interacting with a virtual agent. We're at the inflection point of that is completely changing, and you will expect it and you will want it and you won't look back from it. And so it's neat to be at the forefront of that.
Okay. Hey, I want to throw it to Hyoun because, first of all, analyst to analyst here, because Alan, of course, was an analyst. Hyoun has been an analyst up until this point where he's going in a different direction. So I would love to find out what's your favorite Prince song, and when did you become a Prince? Well, all right, you can throw that part in, but tell us about the journey. Why you were an analyst for a long, long time, and you kind of teased this was something you've been thinking about and planning for, and then you made the move. So tell us about that journey.
Yeah, it's funny. When I started as an industry analyst back in 2008, I thought I would be in the job 1 or 2 years, talk to a couple hundred great companies, and then join one of them, frankly. But once I became an analyst, I started getting really entranced and just in love with the process of learning about markets, being able to find markets and being able to push them in certain directions. So for instance, one of my first areas was in telecom expense management, where I helped define the market and move from simple invoice processing to talking about contracts and sourcing and renegotiations and rate optimization, and really taking an end-to-end approach to this and realizing, wow, we as analysts actually have a lot of power to define our markets and set expectations for customers. And that really was fun for a long time. But at the same time, I saw that there was this mobile app evolution that happened that I honestly kind of missed out because I was covering it, not doing it. And then we had a big data evolution where that was also fantastic to watch. But a part of me said, wow, I wish I had been a part of it, right? So now we've come to this generative AI era, and I realized there would be billion-dollar platforms built on this as well. And it felt like the right time to finally get back in the market and make an honest living for a change. And it really helped that this was an opportunity to be able to help an audience that I've always felt close to, the procurement people. That, you know, these are not the superstars in most organizations, although Tim Cook is obviously a superstar. But I thought there's this real opportunity to help these people to work with contracts and the most boring stuff that is, you know, painful. It takes 10, 12 people to get an RFP through, maybe even more. I know everybody in sales loves RFPs because, you know, they're always so much fun. But despite that, I thought it could get even better. So I think there's some real opportunities here. And it's fun to be able to show a product where you can shape an RFP in a few minutes. You can take responses regardless of whether they're PDFs or whatever free-form text, and be able to analyze them all the same way, and being able to translate that into contracts, being able to load in contracts and be able to compare those to your standard terms and be able to get a first glance from AI on what fits and what doesn't. You know, there are all these little nitpicky things that are associated with sourcing contracts, supplier data, and right now the solutions out there aren't that great. You know, we all have seen SAP, we've all seen Oracle. They're all going to try to handle this stuff for you, but at the end of the day, the experience can be better. You know, I think that's kind of why we're all here. Like, we all like making better software experiences.
I think from your standpoint in particular is the suppliers side of the story, so to speak, has always been kind of underrepresented, and it's actually always been, to me anyway, one of the most as important as the customer side, really. And I'm not talking about employee per se, I'm talking about supplier. You know, I remember even all the way back, SAP many years ago had supplier relationship management, and it was good. It was actually a very good product. And you know, I'm not happy with SAP these days. To say anything nice about them is not easy. So the thing is that, but at the same time, you know, it impacts, as we learned during COVID, but I think was pretty apparent to most of us anyway. It always impacted the customer's experience dramatically. And, you know, and Amazon, of course, figured that out and emphasized it. So I think one of the things I think you bring to the table, having been an analyst, is the ability to tell that story too, as well as the actual, you know, building the stuff, so to speak.
I've also enjoyed just getting to play with the product,
right?
And spending a lot of time in a product instead of having to always look at 100 different ones. You know,
you can ship us the as. You ship us the as, right? So Celia, why don't you? I mean, Celia, you've had a really. I mean, actually, we met before Pros. If you remember, we met when you were about to. You were thinking of going. You're still at Epicor, if I remember. So, but
That's
you've
right.
been CMO all the way, right? So why don't you fill us in on that one?
Yeah, we met. I think Ray introduced us.
That's exactly
yeah, and
right.
said, "Hey, this guy knows that company." I think he called it the P company that you're looking at. So why I joined Conga? I mean, part of it was Pros, right? I love that industry. I love the complexity of it. You're solving messy problems inside, and I had always followed the company for a number of years while I was at other organizations and kind of networked inside it. And so, you know, a few months ago, they called and they were like, "We're going to have a spot for a CMO. Are you interested?" And I was so excited because it combines so much that I like, right? The certainly where we're playing in the product set, the customer list, like Alan was talking about. It's exciting to work with these global enterprise customers and make a big impact. Global is a big piece of it as well. It just kind of combined everything I love about B2B marketing that makes it both hard but fun at the same time. And so it just, timing worked out. And they're making some change here with the exec team and stuff. So it's kind of a fun time to come on and be part of a team and grow a team together.
All right. So, well, go ahead, Brent.
No, it's funny because like you guys all have been around the block a time or two. It's like we have, and you've had different kinds of positions over that span. And then, about 2.5 years ago, it feels like the world completely changed overnight with, the Chat GPT era coming in. So I'm just curious, like, what role did this new environment, this new era, play in your decisions to make the moves you have made? And are there things that you think you'll be able to do differently and more like you would have wanted to do now that we are in this different kind of atmosphere? And what role did any of that play into where you are today?
Anyone?
Yeah, anybody.
I'll go. So one of the reasons I came here, obviously Maris Corte has done an amazing job, as I mentioned, with the building out the community, but also they're probably one of the early players in integrating AI into enterprise community. And so our platform vendor is actually leveraging IBM's watsonx technology, and that's part of the experience today. And actually, we had an internal challenge inside the company to actually come up with new use cases for watsonx. And so there were 16,000 applications in a week across IBM for this contest. We didn't make it to round 2, but we're still going to go ahead with our proposal internally. And so with that, as you all know, in online community, one of the key things is people want to find information quickly. And so we're going to actually use that AI to actually identify all of the unanswered questions in our community and serve those up to a dedicated set of experts real time, so they don't have to go fishing for it. That'll be phase 1, and phase 2 is going to be how do we then find all the questions that don't have a great answer or a best answer and serve it up to the same audience so that we can actually get to 100% solve rate. So that's sort of real time in my kind of day to day. But then I'm also just seeing we're thinking of a lot of different things about how we make our journeys a lot more seamless across learning, across product to get into community. At the same time, which I think will be another conversation, not on the live stream, but probably over a beer somewhere, about the onboarding process where personnel are being offloaded to be interfaced with an AI agent.
By the way, Dani, you're the first guest we've ever had that actually while talking, we're able to put up a comment from you about your event. So
I told you, I got my AI tools working for me, brother.
So are people? Do we get a special like Playaz discount for folks? I mean,
yeah,
kind of cool.
We're trying to 40% off today.
You have to plug in Playaz.
Yeah.
I'll get you TechXchange
discount line.
Put it that way.
Plug in, bring in the ads,
right?
And you'll get
bring in the ads 40.
But all the marketing people freaking out that there was no referral code on that.
There you go.
We're all like, wait a minute. Dani, you want to know where that
we got rid of codes. It's already in the link.
So who wants to go next?
I think.
Go ahead. No,
I mean, I think it's changed how like AI has changed coming in, how you look at an org, evaluate an org, and what you need, and looking at resourcing, and you always were thinking this trade-off you had to make, and it's now like, well, I could put this person more on this and use the tool to take care of this. And I think it just shifted coming into an org, how I look at how are we going to build that team and what that team is made up of and how we use tech. It gives more optionality than maybe I had coming into that last role or the one before that. I'm excited by it. I think it's pretty cool to think about the possibilities it brings.
Yeah, I would say like the agentic AI space, obviously, right? It's kind of, everyone's talking about it. Everyone has it in their marketing materials, but at the end of the day, it's tech, right? And tech is just a vehicle to get to your outcome. And it really goes back to data at the end of the day. Like you can say, you have this percentage of deflection. This is your CSAT score, but it's like, what is that driving? Is that driving better outcomes? Are you have happier customers? Are you seeing loyalty? Are you able to cross-sell and upsell? And so it's a cool new shiny toy. Like ChatGPT has become like the Google, Google this, now ChatGPT, everybody I know is using it. But I think you really have to think about the data and the governance, especially when you're talking about large enterprises, sanction, generative AI, and compliance and regulations. We're going to talk about insurance and healthcare and airlines. So all of those regulations still play, but I think it really just goes back to, outcomes first and tech and AI second. I think that's still going to be the focus for any company.
I guess I'll follow up from that. We'll keep doing the Netomi double teams here. For me, where I believe AI gets past the hype and has some reality to what we're doing is that hopefully this is actually going to deliver on the long time promise of mass personalization at scale. We've always said that. We've always talked about personalization. Yet I get ads from clothing companies and things that when I hit the website are completely out of my size. So it's like, why did you send that to me? You really don't know anything about me. We're now able to assemble so much information from so many sources at the same time and orchestrate those together, not in decision trees or categories that say, if there's a keyword, give them this, but instead put some actual quote unquote intelligence behind this and say, this is how I'm going to generate that answer for Paul or for Dani or for Alan or for whoever. And every answer to every question can actually be different lengths, different tones, different styles. And it's no longer just if you ask about, what's my product discount, everyone gets the same generic 10% response. It can take hundreds of factors in. So I'm excited of how I think AI is going to allow customer experience to actually feel more realistic and not robotic. Call me out on it in a few months. We'll see how that goes.
Exactly.
We're going to do it because it's on. We just recorded, so we're going to do it.
It's not a product pitch. We're doing it today at scale, again, for some of the world's largest companies with tens of thousands of responses a day. And they're not sending the same response to everybody. Right. So it's pretty interesting.
Hey, Hyoun?
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, I fundamentally think that AI is changing the way we work in ways that we haven't quite figured out yet. So, for instance, there were a couple of interesting conflicting studies a month ago. One was a paper that showed that developers, when they did individual tasks, actually measured on average 20% slower using AI because they were using their standard methods and then double checking and working with the AI, and they were doing this more slowly. At the same time, Amazon said that they were able to accelerate their average ROC or their software launch piece by about 15%, but they had to change the way that they worked. And I think part of this is going to be trying to figure out did we used to check each spreadsheet cell by cell and change that to perhaps a more AI-enabled activity? Or how did we change from training our customer service reps on each individual task to moving specifically to using the agents in certain cases and using your own intelligence in others? In our case for sourcing, we think about how we've had clients like Acrisure that came on and did an RFP on the first day and were able to get it out the door using our product because it was easy to use, and we were able to make it easy to figure out how to go through all the steps to get everybody involved and just shove that out the door. Or being able to reduce the number of requests for new suppliers, just the everyday stuff that makes it easier or harder to buy. We want to make it easier. So there are a lot of opportunities, and we're going to have to change the way that we do some of this stuff to get those productivity increases.
Yeah, I mean, to one of the things that I've recently run across, which is just strikingly interesting to me, is there's a company, I'm not going to say the name because I'm not sure I can, but it's doing agentic AI for journey orchestration. And that, I mean, I'm a Thunderhead fanatic. So, to me, that was the best product I literally ever have seen. And this is a former Thunderhead executive startup. It's in a company. It's the only tech company in a portfolio of 60 companies is this. The tech was developed in a non-tech company, and it's got some things it needs to do. But the fact that it's even on the table is one. Another one, Kevin Nix, who's been a friend of ours for many years, and also he was at Siebel and he was VP of Industries. I mean, he goes all the way back in this industry. Great guy. One of these guys that he worked at SAP for a while too, and one of these people who, if he says something, just agree with it and do it, whatever it is, because he's almost always right. He's founded a company called Rocket Surgery, right? And it basically does QA for AI, which is right, which is actually insanely smart if you think about it, right? But that's what I mean. It's opening up these sort of unusual areas, new opportunities, areas that you just find, how are they going to actually do this, right? Even with AI, but they are already doing some of it, right? So to me, it's fascinating, and it colors everything we all think and do. I mean, so here's my question to you guys, and I know because we're running, given that there's a lot of you running up against time, if there's one or two of you, we're not, right? But okay, so back to the job though. You're 30 to 40 days in, typically here, maybe a little longer in Donnie's case. What you expected exactly, not exactly. And again, there's only so much you can actually say, and we're aware of that. So don't worry about that part. We're good with that. But are there things that you were pleasantly surprised about, unpleasantly surprised with? I mean, what's it like, given the day you walked in fresh and bushy-tailed and happy, and now it's 40 days in and you're going, okay, honeymoon's still kind of there, but starting to not be. Talk about that a little bit. Anybody pick it up?
Sure. So I'm now week 10, and first few weeks were really intense. Just again, massive company, information overload, meeting the extended team. I think the net is I'm super happy to be here. It's the work is in my wheelhouse. These planets are aligning, as I mentioned earlier. We've got executive sponsorship all the way to our GM, who manages 8,000 people. He thinks this is like the secret sauce to the customer success flywheel. We actually sit in global sales, which is interesting. The people here are really amazing, and like everything else, I can rattle off a variety of brands. It's got the goods and the bad of the large companies. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, I do remember one thing when I met you, which was the lithium stuff. You were both creating, managing, and expanding at Hewlett Packard 7 enterprise-grade communities, if I remember, and I think the number was 7. So you literally, I've never seen anybody could do communities like you could, and at scale. I mean, you had 7 that scaled at once, which was astounding. And I'll never forget it either. I thought it was like blew me away, because I remember you presented at Lithium.
Right, and 17 years later, 2 of them are still around.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But that was kind of a Cinderella run and pretty much the heyday. And that was kind of my master's in Community 101, because we had such success and I got to learn from people like Joe Cothwell in the company. Here it's just one. We've got a lot of good raw material to work with, and I think more important, like anything else, regardless of whether you're an analyst or customer success or in community, if you don't have the executive sponsorship, you're not going to get very far. So we've got this window to kind of make the magic happen. I was able to hire 2 people fairly quickly. They started in the last 10 days, and so I'm optimistic about what we're going to be doing the next several quarters.
Cool.
That's awesome.
By the way, I want to jump in. You said anything that Kevin Nix says, you just do without questioning it. Is that?
It's a business decision, not other things.
I was just curious because I was going to get him to say, make Paul eat a blueberry bagel, and he says,
no,
not
business decision. That violates my religious belief, right, Alan?
Blueberries and bagels.
Oh, yeah.
Alan and Dani, right?
Absolutely.
There's 3 of us here that would literally violate our religious.
It's not even in the color prism, that flavor.
Blueberry bagels, please. The only time blueberries and bagels go together is when a blueberry gets stuck on a bagel.
All right. I'm so sorry. I actually
never bring
in the conversation.
I'm just kind of giving you a hint to never bring it up.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, let's see. All right, let me go another direction away from the blueberry bagel. I'm sorry I did that. All right. So, keep hearing a little weird noise there. So, you guys are, this is this process. I'm sure it took you guys a lot of time, and maybe even different ways. I think a few of you mentioned you kind of analyzed the job opportunity differently now than you may have done it in the past. But what were some of the apprehensions you still might have had going through this process? What are the things that you really had to think maybe twice about, that maybe in the past that you really didn't have to think, because you do have lots more information in the process? The the hiring process has definitely changed over that time period. So what were some of the things that you had to consider for this opportunity that you may not had to consider previously, or it wasn't important, but now it is important? Just take us through a little bit of, the things that made you think, or you had to do differently as you kind of went forward with these opportunities you took.
Having a boss. I haven't had a boss for 11 years, so that's definitely a big change. But I actually, one of the odd things, interesting parts, is that our company calls itself AI native. Honestly, a lot of companies do that. But when I came into the door, literally every employee we have uses AI, whether we're in marketing or sales or engineering or product. And that was different because the companies I've run over the past decade, obviously, frankly, we used, old school techniques and methods. And it did take a little bit of learning to figure out not so much using the tools, because I used AI tools, but using them with 100 other people who are also using them in their own ways and understanding how that works. I found that to be a really fascinating change.
I like the having a boss part.
It was such a reflex answer too. He came right out the box with that one.
Still can't imagine that part. So
I would say that just coming into this agentic AI space, which is so fast paced and moving, and just even knowing like what's going to happen next week versus like years, coming from the CRM world where, yeah, it moved, but not this fast, right? And so there was a hesitation on my part is, okay, coming in as product marketing, can I have the ability to stay up to speed on all of what's happening in this market, right? Because it is really moving rapidly. So, but you know what? I think everyone's learning at this point, and I think it's just really getting ahead, talking to analysts and influencers, and just doing a lot of reading and seeing what the competition's doing too. So, but it is a scary time.
Okay.
For me, one of the most interesting decision factors was company size. I've been at IBM with 400,000 and Salesforce with 75,000. I've been at startups with 10 to 50 sort of people. This was a very unique, really comfortable spot. We're, something like 200, 250, in that sort of range. So we're a startup, we're small, we're nimble, we get to do fun stuff, but we're not, 2 people in a basement, but we're also focused solely on enterprise deployments, but yet we don't have the red tape of 400 and 500,000 people. So it just felt, it was a really interesting thing to weigh my decisions on with some of the other places I was considering as well, some much bigger, a few that were smaller. And this just feels like a great mix of the two. Nimble, yet focused on enterprise.
Perfect. Yep. Celia?
I'd say 2 things that like culture for me is such a they can have product and customers, and it's always something that's tough from the outside in to figure out how deep it goes, how much is marketing, how much not. And so coming in, trying to really quickly assess what that culture is, how they communicate, and as part of that willingness to change, like the appetite for change. And that you come in new to the org and you're just ready to go, and like stepping back and trying to assess, okay, there are a lot of people here who've been through a lot of change, and what are they up for? And so coming into the role, and when I was thinking about it, really trying to network to understand what that culture really is like internally, especially with changes in leadership and stuff. And then also the just overall appetite for change going forward, because there's a lot of opportunity, but if people aren't willing to take that calculated risk, it's not going to happen.
Did you find the culture to be pretty much what you were expecting, or was it pleasantly, vastly different, or unpleasantly, somewhat different?
It's good. Yeah. Like a lot of work has been done on the culture here. And I came in and have been told that and found it to be true. It's great. Like the people and how they operate, and just the straightforward, transparent nature. The CEO here is just like call you on the phone, figure it out kind of. It's great.
Okay. By the way, I think it must have been Hyoun's new boss that yanked him off because as soon as he said that, he literally dropped off.
That's right. Get off the show.
Football is all right there.
No, I think for me, it's real quickly that I kind of got into really what I'm looking for, and again, it's the quality of the work, the people. I think, but more importantly, it's having an opportunity to work with Mario. So I got to know the last several years in kind of the same cohort under Bill Johnston, and also the fact that for better or for worse, we've got the executive visibility. So our GM that manages 8,000 people in IBM, we're literally meeting with him now every 2 weeks, and so he thinks the community team's a rock star team. And so I know that that's incredibly important for our success longer term, and we've got a window here to make stuff happen.
Right.
Man, perfect timing too.
You was ideal, literally.
Wow. I mean, first
Stop
of all,
right on that Z and ass.
Yeah. Well, okay. We're back to that again. All right. No, but seriously, thank you so much for taking time to do this. I know you guys are very, still in ramp up mode and getting all situated and all that.
And I just slacked my colleagues, so we're extending the Players Weekend. The discount for our conference through the end of the day tomorrow.
I went online to see it. It's just general discount. There's nothing you have to do. Right.
Yeah, but I'm going to be there to greet you all and give you a hug, man.
Yeah. No, I take it. Except I'm retired, remember? I have to admit, though, you guys got me so excited about all your new roles. I was thinking maybe I'll come out of retirement, but I'm not really, though.
I think we should come back together in 6 months and test reality of what we want to be.
That's the deal.
Not Orlando.
End of the year. How about end of the year we do it? End of the year.
Or I have an idea.
That's a great idea.
Do you know what my idea is?
No, I'm talking about Celia's.
Oh,
I'm just counting yours.
Sorry.
What if there is a way, an event that actually, like a live event, that's going to be in about 6 months?
Great
or so.
idea.
Yes.
Wow. Where would that live event be?
Sign me up.
Going back
And
to
already discount. Get a discount.
Get a discount. Yeah. Where's the referral?
Hey, Paul, at least I'm not.
When would that be, Brent? If we're going to do that, when would it be?
It wouldn't be in January. I'll tell you that much. After the last the experience.
This event already happened. I did not know that.
Anyway, well, thanks for that thought. Yeah, we will definitely noodle on that.
So all of you will be seeing invites to IRL 2026, and be ready for a panel. Okay. So.
All right, but in the meantime, thanks again for sharing with us. Hopefully, Hyoun will be able to join us in 6 months. Yep. Might be at another job or something. I don't know.
He'll be an analyst again. Well, he was at the last event, and he was on a panel. Remember? He was
but he didn't have a boss back then. Now he does.
No, he was still an analyst.
We'll see.
We caught him in his last days.
All right, folks. Thanks again for joining us, and we really appreciate it. Lots of great things, and I haven't gone for a job and I don't know how long, and this kind of helps if I had to do this, because last time I actually had a full-time job was I don't even want to say how long it is. Anyway, so thanks again. We will see you later, and we will see everybody else later. And we traditionally end our show, and we're going to do it again today because I don't want to say goodbye unless we say hello to Minnie first. Now we could say goodbye.
Yeah, the beautiful dog.
See you next week.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure to see you.